Hi, my name is Nate, and I first moved to Fort Collins in 2014. I moved here after I graduated from college in New Mexico, and I've lived here on and off. There's been a couple years where I've gone somewhere else, but I've always wound up coming back to Fort Collins, and right now I consider it my home. I'm settled here. I am on the board of directors of Fort Collins Public Media, and I also am a graphic designer. And yeah, I'm a graphic designer and I work in social media mostly. I feel proud of the Fort Collins queer community because it is fearless, because it is public, because it is visible, because this is a town in a part of the country that feels like it might be isolated, but instead people here are really tightly knit. They find each other, and whether that's students at the college, that's people who work here, artists who have come to Fort Collins because of the culture, then um, we're accepting of those outsiders and we make spaces open for them and we're visible in our queerness, and that gives other people the freedom to be themselves to live out. I think to me, at least growing up in the early 2000s, in the era of gay marriage, and that it would be considered really unlikely for a local business to hang a rainbow flag. It was before most people were even really aware of the use of the rainbow flag as pride. Here in Fort Collins, when I go downtown, I don't just see pride flags on buildings. I see just openly and aggressively queer businesses that are artists or professionals who put their identity front and center. And it's amazing that we have a community here in a town that isn't that large, but that is connected enough and social enough for there to be that level of support that you can own a queer bar, you can have a queer coffee shop, a queer tattoo studio, and there is business enough to keep those people operating. They're not isolating themselves from other parts of the community. It's just an accepted, open part of life here. Growing up in Western Pennsylvania, I'm sure things are different now, but yeah, I grew up at a period of time um, where even if homosexuality might be viewed as impolite, not something you should talk about, so people might not be accepting of open homophobic bullying, but there was an acceptance even on the part of many adults that being gay was a bad thing. Being trans was not even a thing that people were thinking about at that point. So I, yeah, grew up at a time where I knew for a fact that there were people who were hitting their kids for perceived homosexuality, who believed that to be good people, they had to do that. It is what it is. Things are very different now, which is great. I haven't been back to that town, so I don't know. Oh, things have changed. I'm sure they have. But I have found a community here where instead of the debate being, should we publicly bash gay people or only privately bash gay people, the discussion in the community is what big events are we going to put on? How are we going to spread the message? How are we going to spread the message of what it is that we stand for, the freedom, the acceptance, the healing that it's able to provide? If you can't do that out in the open, if that is something that's going to draw harassment of any kind, then the community as a whole just breaks apart and goes back underground, where for decades it was in this country, just an underground movement full of fear, full of shame and danger. It's wonderful now to look at the world, see how much things have changed, and to think about what it might have meant for people in the past who didn't have access to this, but who fought for it. The people who made the decision to be publicly visible at that time I'm talking about, when that was unacceptable, would have been considered a reason for people to confront you, to be angry with you just for seeing you in public. So try and have fun. What is the point if it's not fun? And it's always been fun. It's been an exciting and loving way to live. These days things are very serious, but we should still have fun just as much as we can, maybe even more so.